Hello, Amma. Good evening, Amma.
Thank you. How are you doing, Suhas?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations on passing PMP exam.
Thanks. I'm really grateful, Amma, for all your sessions, especially those Q&A sessions. You know, we have so many questions, and without that, it wouldn't have been possible.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. I'm grateful and I'm happy that those questions they help you in passing PMP exam.
Yes. Yes.
So, Harsh, first of all, thank you for your time for this lessons learned session. This would be really helpful. And specifically, I want to talk about those Q&A session and how these are relevant to the real exam, how close they were, and how they help you in passing the PMP exam. Okay, so how many questions you solved? Because I noticed you were really good during those Q&A session and the logic and the point that you raised. So how many questions you solved to pass the PMP exam?
Okay. So if I recall, I had started with Agile. So what I had done was when I was looking at, I was struggling basically to solve the questions, right? So I started looking into the YouTube, and first thing I saw was your video, and I saw it was very interesting. The questions were interesting, and the main thing for me is that how do we solve it? How do you approach that question, right? I mean, I could see many of the YouTube with the mindset and other things, but the basic thing was the concept and how do we apply that mindset with concept, right? So I saw one video and then I was interested and then I started looking into your playlist and there I saw Agile. When I think in something in the month of June I started, so I saw Agile was there, so it was really good. So I took some 50 cases around that. And then I saw you have also, I realized that, the exam is more of an ECO, exam content outline. So I saw you have also have a playlist of an ECO. So I started looking into it. Uh, People domain I started, I went up to leadership, around 40, around that. And then I saw you have also started overall exam thing. And there I also got the YouTube, basically your Zoom link, which says you can join online. So I was thinking it was a great session because joining online will actually help me to clarify many things rather than actually on a YouTube, which I comment. Sometimes I commented and thankful that, you also replied with your time and other things. So that was where I started, and I went through most of your whole exam content outline. I would say you have now close to around thousands, but I might have done around 400 to 300 roughly to solve those question and get the concept and the mindset. That was very important for me.
All right, wonderful. So if you compare these questions with real exam, what's the similarity?
Yeah, it was very similar. Uh, in my exam, there were basically, this was my observation. We had three sections, right? My first section, and again, I'm saying this because of I attended those sessions, my concept was really improved upon. So I could answer those first section very fast. I took around 65 minutes to answer those questions. And but I used some Parkinson law, if I have to say, which made me took still 73 minutes because people say you have to take 75 minutes. So I extended it. I just went through review question, just not to be overcautious and other things. So I did that till 73 minutes. And then second question was medium. So where I took around 75 to 75. And third question was bit tough. And this is where I wanted to say. These questions were very similar to what we discussed. There are thin lines which you come. The options look very similar, and you have to read the questions very closely. And this happens because of the sessions we have. And the best part of this session, what we have is because you have this, you have to read the question and answer, and the group, everyone tries to answer it. So you are in a pressure to answer it. So you have to start reading it fast. And that fast reading also helps while answering the question in the exam, right? So in that way, it was really nice and really good, especially on the third section. For me, maybe it depends. Some may get first very tough and medium, right? So for me, it was third. So where I had to spend bit of a time, but I couldn't get actually to review all my flag questions for the third one. But I took some time to answer it, so it went well. Yeah.
All right. I'm happy that those sessions are also helpful in time management as well. So yes, you raised a very good point that you have a time pressure to answer because other group members are also answering. So yes, I normally give 60 seconds to answer. So when you practice mock exams while keeping those 60-second in mind, then you get used to answering it sooner. So yes.
Right.
That is helpful. Okay. What was your percentage in these Q&A sessions? Like out of 10, normally on average, what was your score?
Okay. To be frank, Gama, initial days I was getting around 20, 30, and I was really dejected, but I just kept on doing it. It went around 40, 50, and finally around in the month of August, I saw it started coming around 60, 70. And once I even scored 80. And for the tougher ones, even in the month of August, I got around 60. So that's where I thought, okay, I have a confidence now, okay, because above you have been saying that also above 60 is something now you can go and take the exam. So that's where my confidence started building. Although I was not totally confident, but then I had to take it. I cannot drag it, how long you can do that. So I just went and took that.
Absolutely. Like 60% in those mock questions, it's a really good score. And that's what I said. If you're getting 60% in my mock test, whether they are on YouTube or my other mock test, 1500 question, whatever, then 60% is really good. So, and
Mhm.
70% means it's sure that you're going to pass the exam.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's talk about exam. What was the distribution of exam in terms of agile, waterfall, and hybrid?
Okay. My observation was more of agile related than waterfall. I mean, I would say has come in the form of hybrid, not very specific. Around, if I have to say in that way, I would say 50% I saw more or less in agile, 20 to 30% were hybrid, and few 10, 20% were coming from the pure your traditional waterfall methods.
All
So in
right.
that, mm,
Okay, so most of your exam was agile. Okay.
yes.
Did you see any question where you had to do some mathematical calculation?
Yes, there was one. It was a bit weird. I couldn't recall it exactly. Something to do with the cost performance with Agile. That too, with Agile, there was something. Yeah, there was one, but it was not so complicated, but bit weird, to read the question and understand. That took some time for me to understand and do that calculation. There was calculator provided, and I could answer that. So yeah, there was one question, and it was not a very complicated. It's like a simple CPI case. All that you need to know is EV by AC, and then you need to select the right thing, right? So the question were a bit of tricky, but the calculation was simple. Yeah.
All right. And did you see any question where you had to select more than one option?
Yes, there were a couple of them. I would say not behind five, but there were five to, I would say, yeah, 4 to 5 questions. I saw multiple questions, and also saw some drag and drop questions. Uh, Again, not more than three.
Yes,
So
that
yeah,
is true. Like most of the question in the exam would be multiple choice question where you select only one option. You
yeah,
can expect 5 to 6 multi-select option, 5 to 6 drag and drop, and 3 to 4 or sometimes 5 to 6 hotspot question where you see a graph and you need to click on the graph. Did you see such?
yeah, yeah. One question of graph I had. I can recall that it is basically a burn-up chart. They were basically increase in the product. There was for a sprint backlog. The sprint backlog items were there, and the sprint backlog was, the burn up chart was not meeting the sprint backlog. So the question was basically, what is that? What do you infer from that? So that was the question. One graphical question was there.
All right. And what was the average length of the statement of questions?
Average length, I would say, Amar, it was not around more than 15 words. See, whatever we see in typically in your sessions, I would say close to 75% of those.
All right. So on average, what I have seen is like length of statement varies from 1 to 4 lines, and most of the time either it is 2 lines or
Ah,
somewhere similar to
okay.
this.
Yeah. So here I had provided with, I had taken it from the exam center. So I had provided with the big screen with a notepad. So average most of the time were of 2 lines and sometimes 3 lines, right? So most of them add 2 lines, but it depends on the screen, right? If it is a reduced one, you would see that becoming a 4 line or something, right? So for me, it was a bigger screen and it was appearing 2 lines. So it was lengthy in that way because you see a bigger screen with a bigger, wider length option. So yeah, 2 lines were there. Most of them were 2 lines. Yeah.
All right. And how much total time you spent in preparation?
Okay. Uh, Frankly, I took around 6 months of time. Started in March, right? But the thing what had happened, Amar, was I was not having a proper guidance. So I just took, I wanted to do this for quite some time now, right? I've been taking one course, but I couldn't complete it because of my schedule. Then I started taking it seriously in this month of March. I went through, how do you crack it? How do you do that? So I saw some YouTube and other things, Googled it. I got a Udemy course, right? I took 35 hours of PDU. Then, the way I was approaching is I need to know all these things, concept, and I was getting overwhelmed. Then what I realized is why not should I take some questions, how it appears, and then I took some simulator, and then I realized, okay, these are scenario based. You did not have to know how exactly the flow is, but more of a concept, right? So the concept understanding has to be there, and that took, for me at least close to 4 months to crack those. And it also depends on the confidence, right? Uh, so it took me some time for me to get the confidence. But only thing I would say in all these 6 months, I was persistent. I kept on trying. I didn't give back, right? So yeah, that was one thing which I realized.
Absolutely. Consistency and persistence is the key. Study less, but do it regularly. That's what I say. Even if you could manage 60 minutes a day, this exam is not difficult. So I have seen
Mhm.
students who pass exam in 5 days, in 10 days, in 15 days,
Yes.
50 days. But those who pass, they are consistent. So yes, you're right. Okay, so Has, did you read any book for exam preparation?
Yeah, I had taken one book. See, there were two couple of recommendation for me. Rita Mulki was also one of the recommendation, but I mean, I'm not a great reader, so I was finding it, tough to go through, sit and read. So I felt having a lecture is more important. So I took Andrew's quiz. So I took a book of it and in Udemy course. See, I wanted to do that because the course as well as the book I can do side by side. If I have to read it, only read it, it becomes tough for me. So I have to wanted something with the course and with the book. It helped me to understand the concept. My basic concepts were good with that book, but deeper understanding of concept came only by attending your sessions, right? I mean, I would say now also, like example, what is feeder buffer? Right, those concepts comes only if you start attending this session. What is sensitivity diagram, right? What is tornado diagram? How does it impact? Those are concepts which gets imbibed into your mind only if you attend. I mean, I'm not trying to be more thing, but those concepts you have explained very well in those questionnaire sessions. And other thing I referred of late was all your diagrams that PDFs you circulate on LinkedIn. Maybe I don't know. This may go on live, right, in YouTube when it is, but I used to call this for myself. Don't think otherwise. I used to call this as Amar Chitra Katha. So that in India we used to have the Chitra Kathas, right? Amar Chitra Katha. So it's very pictorial and it helps you a lot. It helps a lot. Just looking at it, okay, yeah, this is what it is. So I used to refer off late all those things. I think you have also given 200 agile questions.
Yes.
That's also very helpful, especially to understand the process. Who has to prioritize the backlog? A product owner has to do. Who has to prioritize the sprint backlog? All those things are very clearly given. So that all helped me off late. I used to refer that one very often.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with these questions, we share a lot of content on LinkedIn, especially those visuals. And because I myself is a visual learner, so a lot of focus is on graphs, charts, and diagrams. So one student was saying, like when she was doing the exam, those images, those charts and diagrams were in her mind, and she was just answering the
Yes,
question, having those diagrams. So yes, those
correct.
resources are really helpful, and especially my 9 pages long PMP note. So the
Yes,
entire PMP
yes.
is 9 pages. I hope you
Yes.
have that.
Yes, that is the one I was saying. I used to call that as my own thing as a Marchita Katha, right? Whenever I have a doubt, especially on the histogram, RCA, fishbone diagram, I just recall that, right? So it's very, very useful. And I recommend everyone, whoever watching this, right, to use that. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Another good part of that was also the schedule compression, right?
Yes,
So resource leveling and resource smoothing. If you really want to understand, your page of that PDF helps clearly. And there is also, you have given a YouTube course. I've seen that where you have explained what is schedule compression and resource leveling and resource smoothing. That with that, if you look at that diagram, that concept gets imbibed.
absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to show this to all the participants what Suhas is talking about. So these are those notes. If you are preparing for PMP exam, then these 9 pages long notes are really, really helpful. So for example, this is, very colorful and all the
Mm.
diagrams are here. So one of my students, she was saying when she was doing the exam, all these pictures regarding agile were in her mind, and she was simply answering by just, having this. So this is really helpful. Anyone who is
Yeah,
preparing for exam, you can go through these notes. These are just 9 pages, and on 9 pages, we cover 100% of the course content. And this is in line with the latest exam content outline. And this is quite visual, so it's easy to retain the knowledge, and it's quick, it's simple. We are upgrading this as well, like we are
mm,
adding some more detail here. But these are really, really helpful. Students are loving these days, and this has helped so many students in their preparation. All right,
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. Another good part of in this incremental versus iterative. So I was always in confusion with that. How do we select iterative and incremental? In this diagram, it is very clearly given. And iterative is more of change, while increment is more of what you call us, give the speed, right? You give the frequency of delivery more, while less of a requirement change, you do that. So, and agile is a combination of that. So that is also coming out in this diagram. So which helped me a lot to retain that concept.
Absolutely. And this is what I say. If you have conceptual clarity, you need not to memorize anything for this exam. So
Yes.
having that, strong concept of these principles and practices, that is really helpful in the exam. Wonderful. Okay. So Has, what was the most challenging part in the entire preparation journey?
For me, the biggest challenge was on the clarity on how do we approach it, right? So as I said, I spent a lot of time, may not be in the right way, right? As you said, I was not that it was memorizing, but I wanted to know, okay, these are the output I need to know. I need to keep things in my mind. But that was not the case. So that took a lot of time for me initially to know what exactly the ask of the exam. I would say those who are looking for, just looking into this channel, look for the concepts. Don't try to memorize things, right? As you just said rightly, that was a big lesson I learned. Another concept, I would say is that uh, try to, it will take some time. For me, at least, it took some time. Don't give out things easily. You need to be very persistent. And sometimes even I went to an extent that while reading the question, I was not even making any sense. So that was very tough for me, and it was giving me a pressure back into my mind, because I could see that when people are answering fast and they are able to crack it, while I'm still struggling to look for the questions, I understand what the question is, and that peer pressure was also there for me. In those live sessions, the peer pressure was more. I was trying to grasp the question, and I could see that people have already answered, and we started asking them, right? But it that was a bit challenging. But and then I started practicing, and maybe over a period of time, that reading thing also improved. And in one of the session, one of the candidates also said that his reading speed has also improved because of those things, right? So yes, that was a challenging again for me to reading and understanding the question. You need to be having that presence of mind. That I felt was a bit challenging. Those two I felt was bit tough for me.
All right, all right. Actually, this was my next question. What would be your advice? So Suhas has mentioned like be consistent, focus on conceptual understanding rather than memorization. So yes, these are really, really important things. If you are consistent in your preparation, then this exam is not difficult. All right. Suhas, anything that you would like to
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
PMPS?
The last thing I would say is that enjoy the things, right? The concepts, right? We need to enjoy the concept. That will also help you to imbibe that. Those uh, I still recall, if I have to say, that Herzberg motivation theory, hygiene and motivation. So if you don't have hygiene, then people are dissatisfied. If you have hygiene, people don't get satisfied. Similarly, if you have motivation factors, if it is not there, they get demotivated, and if it is there, they get satisfied. So those kinds of concepts, again, I'm saying, comes really by attending those sessions, and you have to really enjoy those concepts. Then you will start feeling it, right?
Absolutely. And those who are watching on YouTube, so Haas is referring to our daily PMP class that we conduct on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from 9 to 10. It's a 1 hour class, Monday to Friday. So anyone can join this class. This is open for all PMP aspirants. So if you need link, Zoom link for the class, so just drop a text, or you can contact us on LinkedIn or through our website. So there are multiple channels that you can use, or even you can write down in the comment section of this YouTube video, you'll get the link and you can join that live class. That is really, really helpful, where we discuss 10 exam-like quality question. So Harsh,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thanks for this session, and also thanks for attending those sessions. Your contribution really helped other participants understand you and those concepts. And I'm really happy on your success.
Yeah, I am really thankful, Amma, because I have not taken your course. I mean, not that I didn't, but because I realized late. This were, because I initially started with something, I'd already spent something, I couldn't join. But I'm really grateful that you had, you made me attend those course. You allowed me, and I learned a lot with those questions, those answers. So I'm really thankful and grateful to you.
You're
I'll
welcome.
be, yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Suhas. Have a nice day. Take good care of yourself. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.